You're watching the NBA Now Mailbag. I am Will Scott answering your questions here before Thursday's draft. First question coming in from Lore. What trade offers will the Warriors get for Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga? To be honest with you, I don't think the Warriors are going to get any offers for those guys. I think they're going to be doing the offering. I think they're going to try to make a trade for, let's say, a guy like OG Anunoby, maybe go after somebody else, but I think they're going to include those guys in deals to try to get better players in the building. I think a team that could inquire about Poole maybe is the Nets, but I expect the Warriors to be offering the deals that include those players, not the other way around. Botted Boys 133. Does Damian Lillard get traded to a contender? Does he get his ring? There was a report from Shams Charania that said that he would like to stay in Portland. I don't know if that's going to remain the case. If they take Scoot Henderson, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep Dame. If they trade that pick for, let's say, a guy like Zion, then obviously they would keep Dame. But I do believe that Dame will get traded. I think the Heat are going to make that happen. And I think Dame and Jimmy and Bam together in Miami would win a ring. And when you say Miami. Corporate Chris, more likely to be traded, Zion or Jaylen Brown? I mean, based on what we've heard as we're recording this on Monday, I think it's Zion. There's been more trade buzz around Zion recently. And then you have a report from the Boston Globe that Jaylen Brown is expected to sign an extension. Who's more likely to be traded this offseason? Who do y'all think? Zion Williamson or Jaylen Brown? Type ZW for Zion or JB for Jaylen Brown down in the comments section. Go down in the comments. Let me know what you think. I think a couple weeks ago, it would have been Jaylen Brown. Now, it's Zion Williamson. Ruski, what's up, my man? What player or players should the Raptors get in free agency and in the draft? That's a good question. I would bring back Fred VanVleet. I would try to bring him back, run it back with Siakam. I don't think I would trade Anunoby, honestly. I think the Raptors have a lot of talent on this team. I'll throw a name at you in terms of a guy that I would go all in for if I am the Raptors. I think it's Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves, putting him at the 2, starting him at the 2, bringing back VanVleet, bringing back Anunoby, bringing back Siakam, that's a really good 5 over there in Toronto. I'll also say this. They should bring back Jakob Poeltl. Daniel with our next question, and it's going to be for producer Coop because it does involve the Dallas Mavericks.
It does, yes. Clint Capela and the 15th pick to the Mavericks for Davis Bertans and the 10th pick to the Hawks. Would you do it? I absolutely would do it. The problem is that the Hawks want to include John Collins instead of Clint Capela in that trade. I don't love Collins in that deal. I'd much rather have Clint Capela. But
and that fills a bigger need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if this is the deal, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that deal as well. I think if a team says no to that, it's Atlanta. I think Atlanta might want a little bit more, but that pick swap that moves them up 5 picks, Davis Bertans is involved. I would certainly do that if I was the Dallas Mavericks. Fred with our next question. Wendell Carter and Gary Harris traded from the Orlando Magic for Jarrett Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is interesting. I don't hate this. Jarrett Allen's a great player. He's had good career thus far in Cleveland. Carter and Harris, they're decent players. Carter, a draft pick from pretty recently, and then Harris has been a good player in this league for a long time. It might take a pick involved in that as well, but Fred with a pretty good trade idea right there. I think it might make sense for the Magic. I don't know if it would make sense for Cleveland. They're going to try to improve that roster and be a legit contender in the East next year. We're going to be live for the draft on Thursday, so be sure to subscribe and join us. That's the sub link right there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Turn your notifications, hit the sub button below. We'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday night for our draft coverage. Our draft coverage better than anywhere else. Not even ESPN is going to be able to hang with us because not like ESPN. We're not going to commercial breaks like ESPN. Remember Nikola Jokic drafted during a Taco Bell commercial? That's not going to happen here on Chat Sport. AJ, $5 super chat. We appreciate you, my man. Do you see Memphis getting involved in the big names that are becoming available to stay afloat with the Ja suspension. I'll throw a name at you, AJ, and I'll even make a prediction for you, AJ. I think Malcolm Brogdon is a Memphis Grizzly. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Grizzlies to trade for a point guard. Brogdon was the sixth man. He would fill that void in Ja's 25-game absence. I do not expect both Brogdon and Smart to be back in Boston. I think they're going to look to mix things up at the guard position. That's a name. I'll give you another name as well. Fred VanVleet. You bring him to town if you are the Memphis Grizzlies here. Try to fill that void with Ja being out 25 games. But Brogdon could make a lot of sense because you could start him when Ja is suspended and then bring him off the bench when he gets back. AJ Scales, Draymond Green has said in the past he wants to come home to Michigan to end his career. So the Pistons. Do you see him doing that or going to the Lakers? I think Draymond's going to want to stay on a contender, and the Lakers could probably still be considered a contender. They finished second in the West, seventh in the West in the regular season. They were the Western Conference finalists, finishing in the Western Conference Finals, losing to the Nuggets. Draymond destinations, here they are. These are the top 5 teams we've seen linked. The Lakers, the Suns, the Mavs, the Heat, and the Warriors. AJ, I actually think he's going to Dallas. That's my prediction when you're talking about Draymond Green. Predict Draymond's next team. Let me know down in the comments section. Where do you think Draymond Green is going to play next season? I say Dallas. What do you say? Down in the comments section. Let me know. Jason Tatum Prods, what's up? Where do you think Jaylen Brown will get traded to? Well, I don't think he's going to get traded. I think that report from the Boston Globe kind of solidifies my opinion on that he is going to be back in Boston. If he does get moved, I think the Blazers make a lot of sense because maybe you bring Damian Lillard to Boston in that deal. Maybe even a straight-up swap there could make some sense for both sides if they draft Scoot Henderson. Chad Jones. Who? Chad Jones. What did it mean that the Bulls' 11th pick will not convey to Orlando?
So basically, they had a trade where the Bulls had a top protected pick or whatever.
Okay.
And it didn't meet that threshold. So the pick.
Yes.
So Orlando keeps the pick instead of the
Orlando keeps the pick. Right. So that's what that means. It was a top 10 protected pick. The Bulls did not get that pick, so it goes to Orlando. We would have seen a similar thing had the Mavs not gotten into the top 10. That was a top 10 protected pick. But because they were able to land a top 10 pick, they keep that pick. Hopefully that explains it, Chad. We appreciate it, my man. 2.0. What roster move would push this Pacers team into the playoffs? This Pacers team is very close. They have Tyrese Halliburton as their star player. He's fantastic. I'm so excited to see what he does in Indiana. That being said, he needs some help. I'm going to say Austin Reeves is the name to watch for Indiana. They have been heavily linked to Austin Reeves. I think they might be willing to overpay Reeves a little bit. And I think Reeves next to Halliburton, that backcourt would be special. Matthew Frey, where do the Nuggets have to improve at to get back to the finals next year? Matthew, it's so funny, man. I saw this meme on Twitter yesterday after the Bradley Beal trade went down. And it had the Photoshop picture of Bradley Beal in the Suns jersey next to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and it said, all this to stop this. And it was a picture of Nikola Jokic riding his horse. I still would take Denver. I still would take Denver over Phoenix. I don't think the Phoenix experiment's going to work. I think the Nuggets have got to bring back Brown. I think what did Malone say, man? Run it back. I don't really think they have to do much except bring back their current pieces, man. Now, that's my take on the Nuggets. Tune, what Boston trade do you see happening? I think they're going to trade. My bold prediction in Boston is they trade Malcolm Brogdon. I think to Memphis is a possibility. We also heard from Adam Himmelsbach in the Boston Globe today that potentially a Grant Williams sign-in trade could happen as well. So that's something to monitor. In terms of maybe a trade target to watch, I would say Dorian Finney-Smith in Brooklyn. In my perfect offseason video that I did for the Celtics, I included trading for Dorian Finney-Smith. Alize, thanks for the question. Poole and Kuminga for picks and Poole and Kuminga and picks for Damian Lillard. If I am the Trailblazers, I say no to that. Poole's a good player, but I think you can do better than Poole and picks and Kuminga. I think the best package that you can get, one of the best packages at least, is from the Miami Heat, because you'll probably get Tyler Hero on that deal, who I really like. And if you trade with the 76ers, you might get Maxey. So I just think you can get better players from some other teams. Quinn Burns, what can the Sixers possibly get with Tobias Harris? He needs to leave this team. He is holding them back. I don't disagree. I don't think they're going to get much. They might have to include him in a deal. Let's say they get involved here for Damian Lillard, maybe send him back. There are some rumors they might offer him for Bradley Beal. I think it's more of them offering him in a trade. In terms of what he's worth just by himself, what do you think, Pretty Scoop? Maybe a second? Maybe? Not much. We're going to be live for every pick of the 2023 NBA Draft, so be sure to subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday night.